Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really exciting. We are jumping into a comprehensive deep dive analysis of key base model SUVs in the Indian market to figure out which one actually gives you the best bang for your buck. And to keep things grounded, we're zeroing in on the Delhi NCR market. Look, if you're thinking about making that high-stakes upgrade from a compact hatchback to a mid-size SUV, the sheer number of choices can be absolutely overwhelming, right? Well, stick around because we're going to break it all down for you. So, upgrading to an SUV sounds amazing, but you're probably asking yourself which base model actually offers the best value. Now, value is a tricky word. For us, as focused learners, value isn't just about hunting down the absolute lowest sticker price. True value? It's finding that perfect, seamless match between a car's feature set, its mechanical capabilities, and your own unique daily lifestyle. Okay, let's dive into this with our funnel approach. First up, we'll tackle the upgrade dilemma and those real-world costs. Then we'll weigh power versus fuel economy. Third, we'll look at dimensions and everyday practicality. And finally, we'll wrap it up with our final value verdicts, tailored specifically to different types of drivers. Starting with Section 1, the upgrade dilemma and real Delhi costs, where we uncover the hidden overheads. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the dramatic spread in the final on-road pricing. Uncovering these hidden overheads is absolutely crucial, because honestly, making the jump to a mid-size SUV comes with some serious sticker shock. We aren't just talking about the extra room price here. We've got to factor in the steep RTO taxes and those hefty insurance premiums specific to New Delhi. We start at the lower end with the Maruti Brezza, and that scales all the way up to the Kia Seltos at over 12.5 lakhs. That gap in the initial cash outflow is just massive when you add in the Delhi RTO and comprehensive insurance. I want you to take a really close look at this specific number, 9,45,700 rupees. That right there is the estimated on-road price for the Maruti Brezza LXI. We need to emphasize this figure because it is literally the only option on our list that stays comfortably under that psychological 10 lakh rupee barrier. For buyers on a strict budget, that is a total game changer. Moving on to Section 2, power versus fuel economy, finding the right drivability for your lifestyle. When we shift from initial costs to daily running costs, you've got to look at the engine specs. And wow, notice the stark differences here. On one hand, you have the Renault Duster base model packing a really punchy 1.0-liter turbocharged engine. It gives you this great surge of torque very early on. But then, look over at the MG Astor. It has a much heavier, more solid build, but that weight penalizes its city fuel efficiency quite a bit, bringing it down to a claimed 14.82 kilometers per liter. And this perfectly sets up the classic battle, highway cruising versus daily commuting. Our source insights show that if you're regularly doing long-distance highway runs, say taking weekend trips up to Dalhousie, the Seltos and the Duster are fantastic. They offer superior high-speed stability and the passing power you need. However, if your life is mostly predictable, heavy traffic daily commuting, well, the Brezza's K15C engine remains the absolute benchmark for frictionless, highly efficient driving. Let's move to Section 3, dimensions and practicality, or, as I like to call it, the urban footprint. It's one thing to buy a mid-sized SUV, but it's another entirely to figure out how that vehicle actually fits into crowded city corridors and incredibly tight parking situations. Looking at the physical footprint and boot space, the Brezza has a massive advantage here, with its sub-4-meter length. I mean, if you're navigating congested neighborhoods in South Delhi, like Green Park or Lajpat Nagar, squeezing the Brezza into a parking spot is substantially easier. The other three SUVs all stretch over 4.3 meters. You're basically trading that tight space maneuverability for massive 400-plus-liter boot spaces and better rear seat legroom. And this brilliantly illustrates the wild variations in what a base model actually means today. Just look at the features and safety comparison. The Brezza is completely bare bones. It doesn't even come with a basic infotainment system, but contrast that directly with the MG Astor Sprint. It offers an integrated touchscreen, auto AC, and a premium soft-touch dashboard right out of the factory. It's like night and day. Which brings us to Section 4, the final value verdicts. Let's figure out which archetype you are. We've looked at all the hard data. Now it's time to reveal our ultimate strategic verdicts, translating everything into clear recommendations based on actual owner consensus. Let's start with this quote from an owner. Supreme reliability and a hassle-free ownership experience. Transitioning feels incredibly familiar.
This perfectly sets up a vehicle whose absolute core strength is low maintenance. So, I declare the Maruti Brezza, the pragmatist. This is the absolute best choice for seamless city commuting and strict budgets. If your definition of value is keeping your on-road costs as low as humanly possible while maximizing maneuverability in those tight residential lanes, then you are the pragmatist, and the Brezza is your car, no question.
Now, listen to this feedback for our next vehicle. Highly impressed with the premium fit and finish. The 1.5-liter engine is consistently rated as the most refined. This highlights an incredibly upscale feel, which, let's be honest, is usually unheard of when you're buying a base trim.
This brings us to the Kia Seltos, the premium pick. It is the best base model for cabin refinement and highway stability. Now, yes, its higher 12.52 lakh price tag demands the highest initial premium, but that money buys you an upscale dealership experience, exceptionally smooth power delivery, and excellent standard safety hardware, like all-wheel disc brakes.
Our third owner quote appeals to a very different kind of driver. They say it retains legendary ride quality, effortlessly gliding over potholes. The turbo petrol engine has a punchy mid-range. This one is for the enthusiast, the person who prioritizes mechanical capability and suspension tuning over fancy interior plastics. We are talking about the Renault Duster, the rugged performer. Best for enthusiastic driving and rough roads. Its true value lies entirely in that legendary suspension tuning and a turbocharged engine that delivers torque early, making highway overtakes completely effortless, even when you're driving on broken tarmac. Finally, we have this general owner consensus. Consistently wins on interior quality, soft-touch materials, LED lamps, and an auto AC. This emphasizes a truly surprising amount of factory-fitted equipment that would normally cost you lakhs more to acquire in higher trims. I crown the MG Astor the feature king. It is the absolute best pick for luxury on a budget. You get an opulent interior and immediate feature accessibility. Just remember, as we touched on earlier, this heavy build and feature-rich environment does come at the direct cost of your stop-and-go city fuel efficiency. Let's move to and see how this builds. When you look at these strategic verdicts and customer receptions side by side, you can clearly see 4 distinct paths to finding value. There is no single best choice for everyone. The objectively correct purchase depends entirely on your primary use case. The data proves that going for a base model is not just a compromise, it's a strategic, calculated choice. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Are you paying for highway refinement, daily practicality, or rugged power? Weigh your specific daily commute, your neighborhood's parking situation, and your budget against these 4 archetypes we explored today. Take a moment to really ask yourself, what does value actually mean to you? Thanks for hanging out and learning with me on this explainer. I really hope this analysis empowers you to make the absolute perfect choice for your garage. Catch you next time.